Just when you thought airlines couldn't cut any more corners, introducing standing seating. We've seen a lot of fights on planes, but every one of them have happened when someone was sitting down. Could you imagine if everyone had to stand for 2 hours? Might as well fill an entire plane with people wearing Burger King crowns.
I want a f***ing lawsuit right now, motherfucker!
Multiple budget airlines now want to replace chairs with these horrible upright sit-stand bike seat things. This is not a joke. Airlines literally want to make more money by stuffing more people into a plane by making them stand and removing their seats. Airlines hate their customers so much they want to transport them like Mr. House. There's no way this works. Have you seen some of the fatties that fly these days? Their knees can barely withstand the check-in line. How do you think they're going to stand for 2 hours during a flight? You're going to ruin their trip to Disneyland. Look at this chair thing. I don't know what to call it. It looks like wheelchair accessible BDSM equipment, or at least it would if it didn't require you to stand. We need to stand together on this one, all right? Whatever airline brings this idea in first, we need to boycott them into bankruptcy. If airlines really need to up their profit margin, I'd rather they cut corners on engine maintenance than seating. I'd rather die in a chair than fly on my feet. I'm Lewis Spears. Welcome back to Lou Review. Like, subscribe, and let's break it down. I got planes on my mind because I'm touring at the moment. LouSpears.com, come and see me. I've got Adelaide, I got Newcastle, I got Frankston on sale, and I got a whole UK tour as well. Look at all those dates. London sold out. Bunch of them are almost already full. I can't believe it. LouSpears.com. See you there. It's a banger show. As a frequent flyer, news like this terrifies me because I know that as soon as one airline does it, if it works and it's profitable, they're all going to do it, man. And it's not a joke, all right? They're building these seats. They're doing demos for them. This is going to happen in real life. This is what they want to do to you.
This seats Skyrider 2.0, allowing you to have, of course, instead of a full eco low-cost carrier, 3 classes.
What we are going to do to you is treat you like a cattle to make 40% more revenue because our customers do not deserve human rights. Bro, I've never seen a more dystopian thing in my life, all right? I want to be clear here. I'm not making fun of the guy's accent. I think that genuinely it's not an English problem that he's having trying to get this sentence out. He's just trying to explain what this seat is in a way that doesn't sound like torturing people for being poor. Like the interviewer is going, why would you do this to people? He's going, more people can have access to flights and poor people deserve less.
The next step will be to have a full aircraft.
These airline CEOs, they're not human beings because if they were human beings, they would have some empathy for the people that use their services. Although, that being said, I've been in an airport before and nothing will make you think less of people in general than walking through an airport. Have you ever tried to go through security and get them to check your bags standing behind anyone that isn't Asian? All right? It's the worst experience ever. People going, do I have to take my laptop out while the guy has been screaming for an 8-hour shift? Yes, take your laptops out. For the love of God, just do whatever the Asian people are doing. Copy them. They're efficient. They're quick. I want to catch my flight. Sitting, not standing.
And what has the interest from the airline companies been for Skyrider V 2.0?
This is 2.0? What the fuck was 1.0? Just a noose hanging from the roof? Honestly, I would prefer that. All right? If I got on a plane and they expected me to lean against a wall for 2 hours, I would be like, can we drop the oxygen mask so I can use it to wrap it around my neck and end myself before the flight takes off? I don't want to live in a world that does this to people. Like, dude, imagine you get on you've paid $150 for 2 hours of fucking standing like this. I've never flipped out on a plane, but if I had to do this, I'm putting on the Burger King crown immediately, all right?
Get the fuck out of my seat!
I will go very viral on a flight if I'm forced to stand like this for 2 hours. How is this going to work for someone my height? I'm 6'8". I barely fit in the plane bathroom. I got to stand like this for 2 hours? No, thank you. All right, this is horrific. How could you do this to people? Imagine, dude, imagine a dwarf. All right, imagine a little person. His legs are going to be dangling. All right, that's cute. I like that. Maybe for my amusement, we just fill a flight full of dwarves and we all get to watch them dangle from from the seat strapped in like they got a little jetpack on like gnomes. That would amuse me. But other than that, anyone involved in this idea should be executed.
A full aircraft for 40-45 minutes trip is like a bus, you know.
Okay, look, maybe this does work in Europe, okay? 40-45 minutes. I could see that kind of working. But then again, it's not 45 minutes, is it? Because you got to go through the check-in and you got to line up to get in. All I see coming from this is the biggest, most violent crash-out videos you've ever seen in your life. Lord knows, if I had to catch one of these flights, this would be me within minutes. Absolutely, this would be me. I would be just in that plane being like, oh, you're going to give me standing seats, are you? How about this? I'm going to make every one of these fucking things a recliner in this airline. I'm going to do everyone a favor, and it's going to be a reclining airline for now. And I would be doing this even if there were infants strapped into the seats. I'd be putting my boot through the baby's chest just to recline the chair. That's a bit extreme. Also, what's going on in this video? Why is everyone else so calm? Have you noticed how everyone's just kind of watching like it's like they're just at the zoo or at the park or something, just observing the beauty of nature? That's incredibly calm for watching a guy like climbing over seats and kicking through them. And this guy did this on a flight where he was sitting. You know, imagine what he would be like on a standing flight. He'd be putting his boot through the emergency exit. This standing seat monstrosity of an idea has been floating around for a really long time. As soon as one super evil capitalist had the idea to just treat customers like dog shit, which, you know, is a frequently employed idea with airlines. People have been trying to get this off the road for ages, right? I've got this news article from 2017. Colombian airline wants to make passengers stand. And I think this is where the idea originated. It was a Colombian airline, which does make sense. You know, one executive one morning was like, what if we make the customers stand and we get rid of the fucking plane and we make them run to the destination? What about that? And then one guy was like, cool idea. Maybe we keep the planes, but we remove the seats and we just make them stand. Great idea. Can I have a line, please? Budget airline Viva Colombia is considering plans to remove all seats from its planes and make passengers stand. This is what happens when you crack down on the cartel. All those people whose only skill is organizing firing lines are like, well, I guess we could make the customers of the airline stand like they're about to be executed. We could make money like that. You know, like, this is why you need a cartel, because those people go into other fields of employment and they apply their horrific knowledge to everything else. Viva Colombia's founder and CEO William Shaw told the Miami airline was looking into vertical travel options. He said there are very few people out there. He said there are people out. He said I can't speak English. He said there are people out there right now researching into whether you can fly standing up. We're very interested in anything that makes travel less expensive. I've got an idea. Pay the CEO less. Why is it always the consumer copying the fucking price reduction, all right? Why don't we pay the engineers heaps and the pilots heaps and the CEOs? I mean, what does the CEO of an airline even do? Extract value for shareholders? Fuck that. I want to sit in a chair and I want to recline without having to ruin the knees of the poor person behind me, okay? That's what I want. He added, who cares if you don't have an in-flight entertainment system? Who cares that there aren't marble floors or that you don't get free peanuts? Yeah, these executives are evil, bro. And I know for a fact, all right, these standing seats weren't the first idea. This standing seat idea has been around for so long that this standing seat idea has been around for so long that we're only looking at 2.0. I want to know what 1.0 was. What was the first iteration of this idea? I think I know what it was. I reckon one day the plane executives had a meeting and it went like this. Excuse me, sir. I have a suggestion on how we could fit more people onto commercial flights while saving a lot of money. In fact, I think this idea has already been done, so we're not even really inventing new technology. All right, I love the standing seats. I love the double-decker seats. But have we ever tried this seating arrangement? Why? Well, I was just saying, like, it worked before, and a lot of people made a lot of money doing that, and no, all right, okay, fine. Apparently it's illegal to suggest ideas anymore, so I'm sorry. Damn, that's gonna use a lot of ink. Another budget airline, Ryanair, also proposed these standing seats, and Ryanair is a bit of a maverick airline, right? They were proposing bar stools with seatbelts, and then the CEO, right, the executive of Ryanair, he came out and said, "We don't even need seatbelts. So what are we even worrying about chairs? Why don't we just pile people into an empty tube, right?" And look, I like the honesty. Okay, finally, someone high up in an airline admitted the truth. He said, "A plane is just a bus with wings. If there was ever a crash on an aircraft, God forbid, a seatbelt won't save you." That's what I want to hear from from the CEO of an airline I fly with. Is just like, "Oh yeah, if we crash, you're dead. The seatbelts are just to make you feel calm, like when we go down, so we get a little bit of peace on the way down. They're not going to save you at all, mate. Buckle up, but also give up." He also goes, "You don't need a seatbelt on London Underground. You don't need a seatbelt on trains, which are traveling at 120 miles per hour." Yeah, look, Mr. Ryanair, I don't think I've ever been on a train and hit an air pocket, all right? I've never experienced turbulence on the fucking tube, man. All right, if I'm in a plane with no seatbelts, I've seen those videos of people hitting the roof with their heads because they went in through a little turbulence. I like my seatbelt. I buckle it up tight. I do what the flight attendant tells me to do, and not just because they're quite attractive. That is mostly why. Civil aviation authorities disagree, however, and vertical seats have not been approved by regulators in any country so far. This may also prove to be the case in Colombia. Civil Aviation Director Alfredo Bosonegra told RCN Radio that he does not approve. People have to travel like human beings, he said. Anyone who's... What a crazy statement to say. See, that's the only thing keeping us from traveling like fucking slave ships in the air is one guy working in aviation safety who also believes in treating human beings like they have rights, unlike these executives and shareholders, all right? God bless Alfredo Bocanegra. That A at the end is a very important part of his name. The thing that gets me about these standing seats is that I know for a fact that like wheelchair-bound people, disabled people, have been screaming at airlines for decades, since the invention of air travel. They've been pleading and pleading with airlines to please remove some seats so that I can just bring my wheelchair onto the plane, but they're not listening. And now they're trying to remove seats, not to make them more accessible, but so that people can stand, arguably making them even less accessible for disabled people. I wouldn't want to be the CEO who has to explain that to an advocacy group. Right, so you guys in the disabled community, you've been asking us for a while now to remove chairs from airplanes to make flying more accessible. Well, I tell you what, mate, I've got some good news for you. We want as many people as possible to be able to fly, so we've just taken all the chairs out. Huh? So we've got some room for people on wheelchairs? No, so we can make everybody else stand. Yes, of course I know that you can't stand. That's why I don't want you on my airline. What? Well, why am I calling you? Well, just to rub it in, I suppose. No, of course I don't hate people in wheelchairs. To hate someone, you have to think about them, and I don't think about you at all. In fact, I'm not even sure if you're people. Why? Oh, well, I suppose it's because you're not frequent flyers, really. Except for that Stephen Hawking bloke. He loved a plane, you know. He was always going off to that island. What's that one called? Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah, great times were had there. Really fun place. I should call Jeff, actually. You've reminded me. I'll call him after this. Yeah, of course he's still around. You thought he actually killed himself? Absolutely not. Anyway, the point is no more chairs on flights. No chairs on flights. Not for your benefit, of course, but for the benefit of my bottom line, my profit margin, my one true love. Anyway, we better wrap this up soon. Can you just remind me, though, before I go, how did I even get your number? No, I don't even know your name, mate. In fact, I have you saved in my phone as a bunch of wheelchair emojis, so I just called it for a laugh. I've got a few of you wheelies saved, actually. Oh, that's right. You flew with us one time, and then we smashed your $100,000 wheelchair during transit. That's right. And we worked out that that was completely our fault, wasn't it? Yeah. Did we ever reimburse you for that? No.
Oh, nothing. I just thought of something else that was funny.
That article was from 2017, but this news piece is from this week. They really want to bring this in. They keep bringing it up every couple of years. Oh, what if we get rid of chairs? I don't like it. It's scaring me. They're going to do this. I'm telling you, man.
The seat's named Skyrider 2.0.
Look how much she hates it. She can't even pretend. It's like you sit in the chair and instantly the schematics to a guillotine get downloaded into your brain. That's how much it makes you hate executives. I wonder what the business class version of these standing seats looks like. Like if it's still standing, but it's business. Maybe what they do is you get a little bit more room in front of you and they put down like a padded bench at the front that the air hostess can kneel down upon while she gives you head. Because that would be the only way that I would be convinced to take a flight like this. Horrific.
Getting are some of the, I call the wing nuts in the industry, who are trying to look at putting together a plan that maximizes the utilization of an airplane, i.e. putting more people in the airplane so that they can somehow drop the fares.
They will not be dropping the fares. They will just be increasing the profit margin. We've heard this lie before. We're cutting costs and passing on the savings to you for like 2 months, and then we're raising the costs again and just keeping the profit margin in our back pocket, all right? Bless you, John. You look like a very sweet, undiagnosed autistic man obsessed with planes, but I don't think the CEOs and the executives have the customer's wallet at mind coming up with this idea. Here's what I don't get. Why don't they just get rid of the fake seats? Why don't they just fly an empty tube with like handles on the roof? Like, I reckon they just got to turn planes into those, you know, that tube thing you used to play around with when you were a kid? You turned it one way and it would go, and then the other way it would go, just do that, but with planes. Except you turn it one way or you get a little bit of turbulence and it's just, just women and children screaming, men hitting the roof, blood everywhere. That's how we're going to fly. Like, it's inevitable. I searched the entire internet. I looked at every single photo of everyone using these standing seats, and this was the only photo that I could find that where the guy looked kind of happy to be in the seat. And I think he looks like he's used to sitting on very stiff things. So I don't think he's the best person to refer to on whether or not it would be good for everyone else. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, oh my God, Lewis, this is the worst idea I've ever seen. Well, I'm about to show you an even worse idea, all right? Yeah, it gets worse than the standing seats. Have a look at this, which was shown off at an airline business expo thing for airlines to implement into their planes. This is torture.
So I just met Alejandro, who's actually an aircraft seats designer. He actually studied at
It's the guy from the photo. Oh man, I did not notice this. And you know what? Man, I'm good at profiling, huh? Listen to that accent. I know one when I see one. Bless him. But I know one when I see one.
Yeah, so basically I decided to design this double-decker seat in order to improve the passenger experience in the economy class.
He wants to improve the experience in economy class. Does this look good to you? Stacked on top of each other like a fucking bunk in Auschwitz? This looks horrific. All right? Who the fuck is going to want to be on the bottom? Getting gassed by the people on the top, all right? Just getting crop dusted for 8 hours. That's awful. This makes me very upset. I mean, if you think you struggled with claustrophobia before, imagine being packed in to a middle seat underneath a middle seat. This is terrible. How the fuck would you even evacuate a plane like this? Because you would have to. Because if I had to catch one of these, I would make the news. I'm joking. Please, don't take my frequent flyer points away.
And we have developed this seat where we can have passengers sitting at 2 different levels, and therefore we can give them more comfort, and also we can give them different passenger experience and possibilities.
What's the different experiences you get based on the levels? If you're on the bottom, you might get weed on by the incontinent senior citizen sitting on top of your seat. Like, what do you get that's different to the others.
For example, you would be able to sleep on the top row in a full flat bed that closes with curtains. You don't have to pay for business now to fly.
Look at these photos, man. If you reclined on the top, you would take out the person's head on top of, like, that's below you. This guy, look at his turtleneck. This man was born into money. He doesn't know. He's never been in the trenches of a Tiger airline flight. All right, I was there in the years before they went bankrupt. I know what it's like to travel with cattle. Okay, don't do this to them. They've been through enough. And yes, some of those animals flying budget airlines deserve to be flown into a mountain, and it would make the world better. But let's not be cruel to them while we're improving the rest of the planet by getting rid of them.
A space at top, people can sleep up there, and then 3 people can sit underneath it at the
Yeah,
bottom.
that's great. All right, so when the air hostess comes around to give everybody scalding hot coffee, and the guy on top of me spills it down my shirt, and I've got second-degree burns on my chest, while he's scrambling around embarrassed because he spilled his hot coffee, he's also going to kick over his bag and the contents of it will spill all over me. That sounds like a great idea, man. We should do that. Here's the thing, all right? This is what I ultimately think about all of this. If you can't afford a chair on a plane, you can't afford to travel. Yeah? Right? I think we need to, like, kind of admit that to ourselves. If you can't afford a, like, $90 ticket to travel 1 hour, you shouldn't be getting on a plane. You have bigger problems. I'm not saying that poor people shouldn't be allowed to fly. I'm saying that we shouldn't subject poor people to the torture of flying upright just to save them $20. It's not good for them. We got to acknowledge the reality that at some point, if flying becomes so cheap that a homeless guy can do it, that's bad for everybody. You know? Like if a schizophrenic crackhead guy can just kind of ask for money for 30 minutes outside the airport and then fly to Beirut, that's not good, because he's going to be on that plane standing up for 2 hours and it's going to end in blood. It's not going to be good. All right, that's enough trashing airlines. I've got a flight to take. I am touring all over Europe and UK. And by that, I mean England, Scotland, and Ireland. I hope I'll add some more dates, but loosebeers.com. I got a couple of Australian ones happening as well. Adelaide is this weekend if the video's out in time. And yeah, come see me, dude. Like, subscribe. Talk to you soon.